No! No! No!
What up, all you beautiful ghosts out there in the world? It's another episode of the Horror Pop Extravaganza. I am your host, Pops Ghostly, and with me, as always, is
Little Duke Spooky.
Li- Lil Dick Spooky.
Little Duke Spooky.
Spooky sounds like he's got a puckered bunghole right now. He's just whispering out, just trying to hold in like a massive fart. Just that, like, Lil Duke, what's your name?
Just a little bit.
Lil Duke.
Got a little dookie out of my little dookie spooky.
Okay, if you haven't left already, this is the Horror Pop Extravaganza, where the macabre meets the mindful. If this is your first time with us, thank you for being here. I have seen, not super quick or anything, but more people are definitely checking out the YouTube channel and jumping on the train a little bit. So to all of you, especially the ones throwing the comments and stuff, I like that stuff. I feel like I'm never going to be one of those people who's like, yo, leave comments and shit. Maybe in the write up I will, but really not on the show. But when people do say something like, oh, that was cool, I'm like, yeah, man, fuck, we try. We try. But it's nice. It's nice. So if you are new to the show, this is the Horror Pop Extravaganza, where the macabre meets the mindful. Once a week, we bring a scary movie and we bring a mindful idea and we all together put them all together just like that.
Ew.
And we're coming off of two bangers.
Yeah.
Bangers of movies. So I expected this week, I don't dislike this movie or anything, but it's hard when you come off of something really high, like a really fucking good thing, and then you get something that's I don't want to say not great, but just not that same caliber. It's
Yeah.
not that same caliber.
I compare it to like when you go to the bar and you pick up the fucking prom queen and you come home and you have a night of amazing one night stand sex. And
Okay.
then you go back the next week and you start with Jaeger bombs. And you wind up going home with someone you thought was the prom queen, and then you wake up and it's just Coyote Ugly all over again.
Listen, dude, they had the whole Ash vs. Evil Dead on iTunes for $10, complete series. I'm like, yeah, that's a digital buy for sure.
I'd
I
say less.
started rewatching it again. In that first episode, though, he goes to the bar at like 1:50, and the dude's like, the bar closes in 10 minutes, right? He's like, oh, I know. Oh, I know. Oh, the beautiful Ashley Williams out there doing it for all of us, man, with his wooden hand. So all that you can see him. You can see just the cod piece and her down by his leg. You can see just
Section.
right. But we're not here to talk about the Evil Dead or Ash Williams or the beautiful Bruce Campbell. We're here to talk about a video game adaptation, which cinema and video games have had a very crazy, turbulent. That's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for.
Turbulent was what I was
Turbulent relationship. There's been some good. There's been some not so good. There's been some absolute dog shit. Which couple of those I think are still fun to go back and watch. But it's not a new idea either. It's been going on forever, pretty much since video games. They were like, yo, Mario's a thing, make a fucking Mario movie. Now they're like, hey, make a Tetris movie. And I still want to watch that one. That would actually look kind of rad. The story of the game being developed and him running all over Russia and like these people trying to take him out or whatever. But we've had Tomb Raiders, Street Fighters, Mortal Kombats, a lot of Resident Evils. We've been in the horror video game space for some time with that franchise because you had seven, I think, with Mila Jovovich, and then probably three, four, maybe five animated, like really cool animated movies too. A lot of them super solid. And then we had the Welcome to Raccoon City. We had the Netflix show, and I think there was a Netflix cartoon as well, like 4-part cartoon thing. So survival horror, not really new, in the cinematic world. Some of the Resident Evil's good, some of them not so good. Whatever, I like them all just because I really like, I enjoy that world. I don't know why. I just enjoy those fucking funny, characters and shit that just don't die and all that fun shit. This, it's been a minute. I don't remember when this game released. I know I played it. I know I played through the
System it
whole
was?
game. What year was it?
What do you know what system it was?
PS4. I know that for sure. It was on my PlayStation 4. So it's relatively recent, but all things considered, still it's been around for a minute. It's a really cool concept. The game, I remember playing the game the first time, feeling so good about it. I made it to like the last 30 minutes with all the homies. I'm like, I'm making all the right choices, bitches. Them fuckers start dropping like flies.
For those uninitiated, which I am one, I've never played the game. How does the game work, like with the plot of the movie?
So I don't know why they didn't follow the plot of the game
Oh, okay.
because this is really far removed from a lot of things that I remember anyway.
Okay.
And this at the end, if you haven't figured it out yet, we were talking about 2025's Until Dawn. I probably should have prefaced or led with that. But the game of the same name, the end of this movie, and we're gonna spoil it, even though it's kind of fucking hard to spoil. I feel like they give you the whole premise right in the trailer, and it pretty much delivers on what it says it's gonna do. The game, I don't remember being like that. I feel like once they died, they were fucking dead. There was no coming back. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And that's where I feel there was a little bit of disconnect with the movie because I feel like the stakes were high, but they weren't like that game was. And I don't know why they didn't just make the game because it's a 10-hour movie that you make the choices and that's it.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? You follow along. There's a couple quick time events and stuff you got to do, but for the most part, it's completely narrative driven, and every decision you make has an impact on the different characters, how they respond, this and that. You can save everyone, or everyone can be dead at the end. So it really does. You can choose different paths. That's why I remember playing it a couple times, trying to save a couple more people. But this, I think, is a prequel because the cabin mountain resort location was the location of the game.
Okay.
So I don't know any of these characters from maybe I don't even know if, and I could be wrong. Maybe one or two of them was in there, but I don't think because it was Rami Malek was the lead in the video game. He did all the lead character kind of shit, and it was really cool. The one big thing that does come over from the game, which I'm so happy they did, is the fucking living legend Peter Stormare, who's just I watch that dude do anything, doesn't matter.
So he was from the game.
Yes, he was in the game. So he
Okay.
was in the same kind of character, this doctor, psychiatrist type character. You know what I mean? Like the game starts and he makes you pick a bunch of, I think, like Rorschach tests, if I remember right. And then it's like, oh, everything you pick now is going to have an effect on the game. And you're like, holy shit. And this dude's fucking with you. And then there might have even been nods to The Quarry, which is the game that followed, which was also super cool. It was a story driven thing. Ted Raimi plays one of the lead characters, which is fucking dope. He plays like a sheriff character, but they're always super high budget, super well acted, super well put together. And the stakes are really high. You feel emotionally invested in a lot of these characters, whereas in this, we'll get to all that. We'll get to all that. Why don't you pull up the IMDb? Tell
Okay.
us who directed it, who's in it, and what does IMDb? I'm interested to see what they think this fucking movie's about.
All right. So this was directed by David F. Sandberg, written by Gary Dauberman and Blair Butler. Our cast isn't a bunch of like, oh yeah, I know who that is.
Peter Stormare.
Yeah, but I'll go through a
You know
couple
what
real
though?
quick.
The one girl I did recognize, the one woman with the nose ring. She was in that new Hellraiser movie
Oh, okay.
on Hulu, the Hulu Hellraiser thing. I remember her in that, and I was like, I remember her, and I remember she was good in this too. And I will say, even though they're not a bunch of well-known names, they all showed the fuck up. I
Hmm.
mean, I thought they all acted really well. Given the material that they were dealing with, kind of a video game type shit. But kudos to everybody.
Yes, yes. Our final girl is Clover, played by Ella Rubin. And then we had Michael Camino playing Max. The girl you were talking about was named Odessa a Zion. Odessa a Zion. Hmm. As Nina. We had oh god damn it. These Chinese names. Ye Young Yo
Hey, you got it.
played Megan.
Yes.
Belmont Camilli played Abe, generic Abe.
Super douchey Abe.
And then yeah, Peter Stormare is Dr. Hill. And
That's
yeah,
about it.
yeah, that's about it, man. And what IMDb says this movie is about is as follows. A group of friends trapped in a time loop where mysterious foes chase and kill them in gruesome ways must survive until dawn to escape it.
That's not bad, actually.
It's actually one of the better ones, which is weird because I have the hardest time out of any of these explaining what this is about. And it
Right.
really blows my mind that the animated thing isn't part of the game, that they respawn isn't
Right. Right. In
the
the game,
game. I
they were
thought
just like dead. I'm pretty
I,
sure. I don't think they came back. I'm pretty sure once you were done, you were fucking done. Like you lost that person until, and then that changed. You know what I mean? Sent to fucking ripple through time or whatever and messed everybody up.
well, that was such an outside of a movie thing where like I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Oh, this must be them having to explain this part of the game.
And that's the
And
crazy
then I
thing.
find
I
out
don't
it's
think it's
not, and
the
now
game.
my mind is completely blown.
Which I'm kind of in the same boat because this has the game was a movie, dude, like a good one. I
Right.
remember enjoying it, being invested with all these characters, going on all these ventures, making these decisions. You probably could have just taken that script and made a movie and been like,
Yeah. So often that
right.
could
And
work
like
way better
until
than what they
dawn,
did.
but I guess they, maybe they were hoping this was going to do so well that the next one would be the official, you know what I mean? Because we're going back to the cabin and all that stuff. But in this, we open up with a cold open girl getting dragged in the woods, which we'll learn later on is Clover's sister. All kinds of, crazy shit we see. And this movie really is kind of a fever dream because it goes, man, and people are just fucking dying. Then they start watching videos they can't remember, and we start seeing all more kinds of dying and stuff. But that's a long way off. So we see a woman getting dragged into what looks like a dark hole, a tree somewhere, something like that, screaming, clawing at the ground. No, not again. I don't want to die again. And then until dawn. Now we're outside of a gas station, circa 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And we've got a group, like you just mentioned, our whole cast here, a group of friends who are with Clover to help her. Clover thinks she's there to try and go look for her sister. They're hoping it will bring closure. So their mom passed away. We learned pretty quick, and her sister took off. I can't be around this shit anymore. I need to go live a good life somewhere else, and goes missing somewhere around here. And she's got, I think, a picture of her sister. Their sister sent with the gas station behind it. And okay, this is the fucking spot. Meg's kind of a psychic. I don't know. She's like, I feel shit like this. And sometimes she doesn't. Other times, though, it's spot on. But she is like, hey, let's do a little circle, like a quiet circle. And I mean, I remember in the game you had to be quiet at times. I do remember that. You had to like fuck maybe hold a button or do something to not move. If you moved, you were. And I feel like this might have been like the tutorial level, if it was anything in the game. So they do this little prayer circle thing, and Clover goes in to get a coffee from the gas station. The gas station attendant is the one and only Peter Stormare. If you don't know Peter Stormare, I remember watching Fargo for the first time
Yeah.
and seeing that man and just being like, he's good, dude. He doesn't have to say a word. He just can act with his face, with his eyes, cigarette just barely hanging out of his mouth and shit. And then at the end, he goes full ballistic and shoves Buscemi in a wood chipper, and it's good.
Yeah.
And even in the first John Wick movie.
Yeah.
Oh no, was he in the first John? No, he wasn't the first John Wick movie, was it? No, I don't think so. Um, because I wanted to say for a second he was the what's his name, Reek's dad, but it wasn't him. It was somebody else. Either way, she goes in and starts talking to him and kind of stops at the door. She's like, did you work here last year? And he's like, I worked here last year, year before, year before, year before. Shows a picture of her sister. Hey, have you seen this girl? Pretty girl. No, she looks like you. And then he makes some mention of like, people don't go missing right here, but up the road a little bit to Glore. I think it's Glore. It's almost Gore or something, but it's Glore Meadows or some shit. I don't know. She's like, oh, fuck, let's go. We're investigative journalists now. We
Did
got
they ever explain in the game why? I shouldn't spoil it, but I'm going to anyway. I don't give a fuck. He's the crazy doctor. So why is he working at the convenience store?
and that's, some of the things with the game. I don't even remember if he was real or if he was more of a hallucination or something like that. And even in this, they kind of nod to that she may have, in a way, created him as part of her psychoses or
Holy
whatever was
shit.
going on. I don't know. I'm pulling at fucking straws. I'm
Right.
trying to find one that's the right length. The but she talks to him for a little bit, and then they decide, okay, we're gonna go up to wherever and go poke around for a minute, see what we can find. End up in a crazy fucking storm. For a while, Clover doesn't want to go. No, turn around. No, Harry, turn around twice. No, turn around. All right. And then all of a sudden, just through a wall of water. And then it's just sunshine.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, very cool effect. Very cool effect. And they're kind of like, what the fuck? And Abe's out there like, oh, I heard of this. It's that Oasis song, right? It's called a water wall, wonder wall, water wall. That's exactly what this thing is. And for the most part, they're like, I don't fucking know, dude. This don't seem right. Meg points it across on the ground, is like, yo, my psychic thingy is telling me like we're in a bad spot right now, which is cool because there were elements of the game where you could get something, maybe little totems, or you could collect something that would give you like visions of the future, a little bit to guide you, like, hey, do this or don't do that. If you play with matches, somebody's gonna fucking blow up. Like you see something like that, you got to piece it together. It doesn't hand it to you, but so maybe it was some of that. And they're at the welcome center of this Glove Glen or whatever it was, and they go inside. It's super creepy. She decides to go into the water. She's like, I hear something or something like that. And Clover goes back out into the storm a little bit. Her ex-boyfriend is like, oh, I'm coming with you, or I got to go after Clover. Old girl with the nose ring is inside, signing her name in the logbook. Meg is in the bathroom doing something. And then Abe discovers, I think he's the one that finds all the missing posters, which is creepy.
Missing posters are always creepy. Yeah.
No matter where you are. And he even points out, he's like, these ones don't have dates on them. They don't have names. They don't have, report to so and so if this is, you got any information on this thing. So he's looking at all that shit. And then relatively quick, fucking shit goes bad.
Yeah. Clown Boy shows up.
Right. And he kills a couple of them. One of them finds like old boy, I think, stabbed in the neck or some shit, and his body falls off the wall, or he's cut in half. And
Yes.
then, yeah, he might get her. I can't remember how Meg gets it. I don't know if they all die by him though, right here. But there's so many deaths in this movie. It's hard to recall exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like the stakes aren't high enough.
No, because if a character is just going to come back, then the deaths are meaningless. Also, great, we have Crazy Clown Boy. What the fuck's his deal? We don't know anything about him. And I will say, when you watch Terrifier, like I feel like I just get his deal by the way he's being, But this guy, I'm just like he's just a generic
And
sir.
and that is the that's awesome. That's the where the game differed. I think in the game, a bunch of miners got buried alive and resorted to cannibalism and shit. We're like all trapped down there, and they showed some on the TV, like the oxygen mask lady was watching it. If you read the headline, it was something like, no number, we don't know how many are still down there, but we're expecting the absolute worst. And I want to say in the game, they got trapped down there, went all cannibal, and then became Wendigos and were out in the woods and shit. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
idea.
that explains the Wendigos, but we
Right.
still have Crazy Clown Boy.
And that I don't, we had some of that in the other game. We had some in the game for sure, the people in the masks, but it wasn't I don't remember if it was the clown guy, but I know it was the white face mask guy with like the half white face. He was 100% there. But in this, the idea is that I guess Dr. Hall or whoever, Peter Stormare, he fucking, I don't know, subjects them to this intense, but I don't know how he figured out they'll come back. You know
Right.
what I mean, with the because in this you got the big clock thing like that resets every dawn or every
Yeah.
time everybody dies, it resets. They got to try and make it through the entirety of the sand hourglass with the
Right.
skull underneath.
And how does the hourglass know who died and who didn't?
I think it just kind of knows. I don't know how it knows, but it just kind of knows. Because and he brings elements of almost like this is a giant hospital to him
Yes.
or some kind of a laboratory. This whole place, and they say half of it got sunk into the fucking ground. There's all the buildings are underground.
That's right. Fuck. I forgot that that even happened. And that is another weird point where it's just like plot dumped on top of plot and never explains any of it. It's just like by the time you're thinking like what the fuck is going on, something brand new has been served to you on a silver platter and you're like, now I have this other thing to digest that I don't understand.
Right. It does, and again, it moves like I said, a fever dream almost. It moves very quickly. I want to say they mention is something when the mine collapsed or some shit like the town fucking fell in. I don't know, but they're like we're underground and there's windows and shit. Why is all this?
Right.
I'm like I don't know either. Fucking
Yeah.
explain it to me.
Yeah.
Somebody.
And no one ever explains it. I was
Mm-mm.
waiting for Stromae to hand it all out. He gives a big ass speech at the end. Didn't fucking explain one single thing that happened.
I feel like you get a little bit of that between his between the end speech and the VHS tape of him with that first test subject that he kept in the thing. When the kid puts in the porno at first, then they're like, "Oh, you want us to leave? You want to fucking beat your dick?" And they're like, "No." Fun
I'd be like,
story.
yeah, I'm gonna die tonight. As a matter of fact, I do want to beat my dick, and I'd appreciate if you would step outside while I did so.
Fun story, real quick. In the
Wait a minute. I don't know
no,
if we
no,
want to hear this.
no, this is great military story. So real fast, I was a young ghostly on the ship, like E2 or E3, something like that. And I was on duty, and I remember the bosun mate. And I'm not gonna say his name just in case he actually says his name by some chance.
Know
But
who you are, though,
who's like
motherfucker.
my supervisor, he used to tell me, he'd be like, "Yo, I'm going up front to smut myself. Don't you fuck come up here.
Smut myself. I'm using that for the rest of my life, dude.
I'm
For the
going
rest of my
to
life.
I'm going to smut myself. Don't you come up here." I never went up in that motherfucker. I was like,
Fuck no.
no, not if you're going to smut yourself.
Yeah, no, he's doing something weird. Like he's doing more than just jerking off.
Right.
He's cradling the balls and fingering the butthole, doing the whole 9 yards, dude. If he's smutting
Everything,
himself.
everything all at once. But yes. So I think we get a little more of that story about, again, he was a doctor when this was a town at the sanatorium, I think is how it was spelled on the map, sanitarium, whatever, and was doing all these fucked up experiments on people and somehow stumbled across a magic hourglass. I don't know, dude. We just got to throw all the disbelief to the wind with this one
All
because
right.
I mean, we're accepting that they just keep coming back over and over. It's easier for me to accept Bill Murray coming back in Groundhog Day. Like for some reason, that's easier. And they even bring that up. They mention that shit. They're like, "Oh, she's like, oh, like that movie." And he's like, "Yeah, I like that movie. It's been done a ton of times." Blah 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 blah.
These millennials that apparently watch Groundhog Day and listen to Oasis.
Dude, they were all dressed straight out of PacSun in 1999. The one girl
Yeah.
had big wide bottom, jeans on. They all looked. Nothing ever changes. It just recycles a little bit. We took it from, our people in the 70s with the wide legs and stuff, and we kind of snatched that, and then they waited another 20 years, and then they're like, yeah, we could do that again. So everybody's dead this first night, and we wake up the next day like, what the fuck? Or not the next day. You wake up exactly where you were at when the timer started. So Meg was in the bathroom. Old girl was in the signing her name on the thing. Clover was in the rain. Abe was looking at the missing posters. We gather up really quick and start to ask the obvious questions. What in the hell is going on? We need to. I just watch you die. I swear, I just watch you die. Yeah, I saw this. I saw that. The first, like this cycle, I want to say this might be the cycle where she gets fucking chucked out the door because they might try and leave. Yeah, because the two are going to try and run. I might mess up these cycles because they go through a bunch of them. And
Right.
they deduce by looking at the logbook that her sister had been there. And she signed her name 13 times. 13 seemed to be the magic number of this is the most anybody's ever made it through the nights. But we don't quite have all that figured out yet. I think they look out the window. Now there's a new building. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What's in? It's got fucking spray paint all over the door. And this is where I'm very confused too, because this all seems so extraordinarily supernatural. And
Yes.
he gives the idea though that this is all her doing, that this is all a manifestation of her fear, of her trauma, of her. He's like, you're a special one, Clover, because and this is all at the very end, but he gives this exposition of, exploding people. I never would have thought it, or some shit like that. And so I guess this is all in her head. I'm not 100% sure if she manifested all the monsters, if not, but he reminded me when he gives his speech of a one Dr. Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow, because he's obsessed with fear. He's like, fear is my study, fear is my everything.
But they never said why.
Right.
Like, why is fear his everything? Scarecrow has a great backstory that his dad like locked him in the basement with scary shit and stuff.
There is that, and I don't think we really. Sometimes it's just crazy doctor, dude.
Are we just supposed to just watch Super 8 and assume that that's Peter Stormare's like next step character of that character? Like he went from making snuff films to like actually like snuffing people, but it is in film also.
I haven't seen Super 8 in a long time. That was a fucked up movie.
It was pretty fucked up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher made
There was
that.
the good one too though, with the tick 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 with the little kids making the Super 8. You remember they were making the reels?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was J.J. Abrams. That's a whole different story.
No, I know 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking really
Don't
dirt.
rent the wrong one, thinking like, oh, this is that J.J. Abrams joint, and then all of a sudden you're watching Stromare stroke it while this girl gets killed on screen.
Right. Yeah, don't do that. Bad choices. Ask the clerk. Actually, the video store doesn't even exist anymore. Just read the info box. Back to Until Dawn. I really feel like something happened on the second day that I'm missing. Something.
She gets sucked into that house.
Yeah,
And
she gets
apparently it's Clown Boy's
thrown,
house.
though. She gets
Because there's
thrown off the porch. Like,
yeah, like sucked to it, like
Yeah.
supernaturally sucked to it.
yeah.
But then she goes inside the house and it's got all those Clown Boy masks.
But
We
you
just
also
never
have
hear
the
why.
woman. Yeah, but you also have the woman who is with the oxygen mask watching the monitor thing.
Dude, that fucked me up worse than anything in this movie because I hate old people. They fucking freak me out, dude. And there's nothing scarier. I'll take an Antichrist or a Wendigo or whatever, a clown boy monster. I'll take any of that, dude, over an old lady who puts her nasty, filthy oxygen mask over my face.
Yeah. Oh, it does too. And next week we'll give you a little preview up in advance. We're doing Insidious, and that's a scary old lady, dude.
Fucking scary.
That one still gets me.
What are you
That
trying to do to me?
I don't know.
Are we gonna do The Shining next?
Right? Look at my titty, man, little Duke.
Damn, dude. I used to be so scared I would sleep on my parents' bedroom floor, and my parents would not come to bed when I went to bed. So they put me in their bedroom on the floor, and I would just hear their shower drip, drip. I thought it was that lady coming out, and she was just gonna peek around the corner at me, dude.
Right.
And I would just lay there like shivering, dude, till like 11:30 when my dad came to bed.
Frozen in fear.
Yeah, yeah. And my dad would be like, "Be quiet, don't wake Jason up." And I'd be like, "Nah, I'm not asleep. I've been laying here this whole time."
Can I get in between you guys?
Just covered in my own piss and just cold sweat. They're like, "Man, there's something wrong with him."
Boy, it smells like a pig.
Little Duke Spooky.
Right.
Little Duke Spunky is more like it.
Go sleep in the bathroom.
I can't.
Right.
That's where she is.
Oh, fuck. We haven't done The Shining, have we?
We have not.
Yeah, we'll have to do it at some point. I mean, that is a fucking that is a great one. And a quick nod to Happy Gilmore 2, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And when fucking Shooter McGavin was reading The Shining in the
And laughing.
and
Yeah, dude.
laughing, yeah, when he's in the hospital. That was good shit.
He was like, "This guy's losing his shit."
Right. And when he throws coffee into his face, he's like, that's hot. He's like, I thought you like it hot. He's like, how do you like it hot? Just running away
And
laughing.
then
I'm like,
laughing for
so
like that
good.
huge wide shot, dude, and him just running. Yeah.
Adam Sandler, we salute you. So back to Until Dawn. She, like you said, gets pulled into this other house that was across the street. This shack just shows up out of nowhere. We get in there and you got the oxygen lady mask watching TV about the mine collapsing. And this is a really intense scene. And this lead, she does an amazing job. Like she crushed it because there's a few moments where I'm like, she's got some fucking real talent in there that I hope she gets to display at some point.
Old
Like,
lady?
no. Clover.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, the old lady was creepy as fuck too. When she takes the mask off and it's all just like big smile.
yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
Ah,
Yeah.
go to my happy place.
You got to pay the rent. So- one of the best Lynn Shay performances ever, dude.
Oh.
Okay. So she gets pulled into this thing, but it's this performance where she's by the door and she's like, please let me out. And she's just like this desperation, this real desperation. And this entity is feeding off of it, pins her to the ground and shoves the mask, the oxygen mask on her face, and is like, breathe the suffering, breathe. And her eyes start going all black and shit. And then she throws on one of the clown masks and goes walking across the street ready to kill her friends. And then fucking here comes Clown Boy, waxes her with the Jeep. Boom. Bam, she's dead on the ground. We see the black kind of fade away from her eyes. And even if they kill the clown people or whoever the villains in this thing, they always seem to come back. And I want to say it's at this point Abe jumps in the car and he's got old girl in there and he locks the doors and she's like, "Let me the fuck out! I want to get my friends." No, we're gonna go. And they go, and then they see this big troll werewolf looking shit. I don't know what it was, but it was huge. We gotta go back. We gotta go back. He gets killed. Everybody gets killed. We wake up again. And that might be mixing up like 3 or 4 wake ups.
Yeah, the wake ups are just, there's no way. You could have watched this thing 5 minutes ago and still you would get them screwed up.
Yeah, because
There are some great deaths. They're really bloody, which I like.
yes, and
And
there's some awesome, like you said, some good deaths. I feel like the exposition doesn't fully connect everything the way it needs to be.
it doesn't even try. It just is like throwing shit at you and then just be like, swallow it, and then just like it.
Right.
And then so we're gonna give you more to swallow.
And all that really gave us was the, blood and gore. You got a little bit of the friendship stuff. Meg was really cool when she goes all like spirit floaty and starts pointing at all the posters and speaking their voices. Like, help, we keep dying all over. Do this, do that. And every single different one comes in and she just snaps her own neck and falls on the ground. Like, oh shit. It's kind of crazy. She, at some point, he comes in after they all explode. Like on the 3rd or 4th day, they all huddle up in the bathroom and the water finally works. And so they start fucking. Abe's like, oh, yeah, everybody have a drink. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh. And he's like, oh shit, that's my guts. Wipe that on the shower curtain. And then he's talking to them and just full on fucking explodes all over the bathroom.
Yeah, not like a head explode. This is
No.
a full body explosion.
Full body explosion.
And if you like that, hang in, buddy, because you're gonna get through those.
Right. They're going to keep coming at you. But this is where she sees Peter Stormare because she's like, she tells her boy, I can't remember his name. They dated at one point, known each other forever. But she's like, just kill me. And he goes to put his hands around her neck and can't do it, and then he steps back and fucking explodes. And then she's on the ground, just kind of laying there waiting to explode. And Peter Stormare like comes up over her head and is like, gives her some kind of insight, but not enough to really put the whole thing together. So she wakes up with this renewed survive the night. There's got to somehow they get the idea that they got to survive this whole night. They have found the dark tunnel, the long dark tunnel that they don't go into until the very end.
Yeah, long dark tunnel. I was like, cool, what's this? Who cares? Don't worry about it. Just keep going.
Right. Until I'm ready to start running towards something.
And why a long dark tunnel? Do you know
Right.
what long dark tunnels where they lead to? Nowhere good.
Nowhere good. Never been anywhere good.
No, I've never got to the back of a tunnel and been like, this is exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
back of the tunnel.
they
Finally made
do
it.
they do close the tunnel off. They find a radio and she's able to talk to him at some point and he's like, "Come to the woods, only you, and I'll show you your sister and shit." And they're like, "No, you can't do it." And she's like, "Fuck you, I gotta try anyway." And she takes off running out the house, gets into the woods, gets into this little clearing, and is like, "I'm here. Where are you?" Her ankle, bear trap or animal trap. I guess a bear trap would have probably fucking severed her leg. But it's a animal trap on the end of a big chain that starts pulling her into this tree. And she's like, "No, pulling at the dirt now." She gets into the tree. We just hear screaming and stuff like that. And then we get her guy goes looking for her out in the woods. He's like, "We got to go do something." Well, I want to say everybody else around the house was dead or about to be dead pretty quick. And I can't remember, like you said, there's so many deaths. I'm trying to remember how these people died so many times.
Well, at one point they got on their phones and they were like, "Do you remember how many times we've died?" And they were like, "No, I don't." Like, and
Right.
they
That's
look and
right
they
near the end. That's when she makes the call to go into the tunnel. That's right at the end because
right.
you start seeing fucking like shit crawling out of her face and
That was gnarly, dude. That's
that
the
was
other thing I don't
gnarly.
like. Old people and then like stuff that has stuff in it.
Aren't you literally like a stuff with stuff in it and you're like a meat sack with organs on the
I
inside?
think that's why it fucks me up so bad because I can relate.
Fair enough. But yeah, that doesn't come until a little bit later on. First, she thinks she's going to talk to him, but doesn't. They decide they have so many deaths left. They, like you said, I don't know. Maybe we just should jump to the end because I feel like I'm really struggling right
I
now.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna get through like the deaths. Just know, like, let's just say
It's going to
a
keep
bunch of cool
happening
deaths.
over and over
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
It's going to happen a bunch
Nothing.
of times. Now, they do get more ragged every time they come back. They know they're only
Yeah.
going to make it so many times because they find the VHS tape. They see one of the original experiments, and he's like, "Oh, I've had him in here. 11 days is the longest." And then they become a brah. And that's what
Right.
I think all these people are that are running around are his fucked up experiments, or supposed to be, but then we're led to believe that it was all in her head and she brought it all.
I don't like it.
I'm getting a headache.
It was upsetting because I was like, at this point, I was like, wait a minute, I don't think we're gonna get answers.
Yeah. We do get to the end where they all decide, okay, we have to go down the dark tunnel. It's the only way we're going to be able to do this. They start making their way, or no, because they wake up the last time and Meg's not there. That's the thing that gets them in the tunnel.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
They're like, well, what
She
if
ran
she?
out of times to come back, right?
No, because she was still down there. She was still alive. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like she gets out at the end.
Man, we're making more holes in this movie than I thought.
Right. I know, me too. I'm kind of like talking myself down. Like I had a score in mind. I'm like, because even though it is kind of repetitive, it's a popcorn movie. The performances are good, the effects are good. If you're just in it for that, if you're not in it for any sort of plot whatsoever, it is a fun roller coaster ride, but it is hard to follow.
Yes.
And so they decide we're going to go search for Meg. Our remaining four go off looking for her. Everybody's alive. We think this is the last time. We're led to believe this is the last life, the last try. Shit starts happening in the tunnel pretty quick. We have the four of them see some shit. There's some cat and mouse kind of flashlighty, some really good atmosphere stuff with the red light and the black light and the red light and the black light. Some really fun cat and mouse stuff with all these things. We end up in a room we had seen Meg die in before that was like a big skylight on the ground above, and Clown Boy comes smashing down with the sledgehammer, like this huge sledgehammer. They're like, hey, you go. Fucking Clover, run, go find Meg. We'll take care of this guy. And I actually really like this scene. I think it's fun to watch all three of them kind of work together. And I feel like in the game you had to do some stuff like that. Like more than one person would have to pick up an object, and they pick up that giant sledgehammer and just right all over his face. She finds Meg tied up to a chair with what looks like patient zero in a straitjacket on the wall. So I guess he's, once he turned, then I guess that's what they are. But how do they keep coming back to life? And I thought it was just her imagination, unless she's imagining the whole setup,
Right.
like a nefarious doctor doing all of this crazy shit.
I didn't even pick up on the patient zero part. I was just like, oh, there's a zombie in there with her.
Right. I thought it was it looked to me a little bit like that first guy. It'll never be as good as that guy in the fucking jail cell in my favorite scene in Welcome to Raccoon City. When he's
Yeah,
in there,
dude.
he's like, when Leon's like, yo, is he all right? Oh, yeah, him. Yeah, he's fucking fine. Yeah, just cough up a little blood. No, never fucking hurt nobody. No, he's not fucking fine. Give me the fuck out. Man, just acting at its finest. So Meg is discovered by Clover, but she doesn't have the keys. And then she runs into another room where she comes face to face with Peter Stormare. This is kind of a nod to the game. I feel we saw her two options on the table, like try and poison him or try and stab him with the thing. Like it would give you options like that. She kept looking at both of those things together. He gives some of the exposition about my business is fear and I like to do fear stuff and fucking
That's a good Stromare.
um
I'm
but
nihilist. I believe in nothing.
right. She does see the picture of Rami Malek on the patient files. So we see a little bit of a connection to the game there. So I was like, oh shit, that's the guy you were in the game. Like I remember him. And Rami Malek's just dope. Like, dude does great work. She sees all this. She moves his coffee cup over a little bit so it gets a couple drips of pipe water. No, explosion water. And then moves it back, and he takes a couple drinks, and he's like, someone always has to die. And she's like, this time is you. Got the Bee Gees going on. You hear that little, and then just fucking, there goes Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
Now we have to survive. We have to get out of this thing. And we get a pretty good tense sequence of them, two groups of people going in different directions. But at the end, the cross where she had pointed, like, bad shit's gonna happen, they come crawling out of rebirth in a lot of ways. And
Very Evil Dead poster, I thought.
oh yeah, the hand coming out. Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the girl, like waist up, like
Right.
reaching up. It
Yeah.
was right out of that. It also reminded me of the Descent too, when they come up out of the ground.
Oh, yes. Yes. Man, the descent is a fucking
Why haven't we done that one yet?
we should, because I saw that in the theater and I was tense.
Yeah, dude. I came
Butthole
out.
puckered.
Yeah, I didn't poop for like 3 days after that because my butt was so tight.
Right, like
Yeah, I had to give it a little massage, the whole massage on the side.
right.
Here you go, buddy. It's gonna be all right.
It's okay not to be afraid anymore. Neil Marshall, man. Neil Marshall done some dope shit. Dog Soldiers, that shit. A lot of good movies.
I like his sister Penny Marshall a lot.
I'm pretty sure that's not his sister.
Oh,
But hey, maybe. I don't think so. I believe yeah, no. So she blows him up. Everybody crawls out of the ground, and Abe pulls up in the Jeep, like, you guys can just go fucking hang out all day, or we're gonna fuck get out of here. And we get in and we drive away. After she had killed her sister, that was kind of cool. She put the animal trap on her face, or one of them
yeah,
got an animal trap to the face. I just remember liking that. It was, or no, her sister, she jumped on her and put her on that spike that she had almost landed on.
right.
And they all drive away. We get an interior shot of the doctor's office where all the monitors were, and they start to and show us the setting of the video game. We see the setting of the video game and what looks like the vehicle pulling up, at least how I remember it. So that is Sony's adaptation of their own material. How do you screw up your own thing?
Seriously. And why start with this? Like you're like, we're gonna start a new studio and we could do God of War and we
Well,
could
they
do
got the God of War show
Horizon.
coming though.
That's gonna be baller.
And yeah, I've read a couple things on it. I'm like, it sounds good. He's like, I'm trying to keep the tone of the show, the tone of the game. And I'm like, that's gonna
But
be,
is Pedro Pascal the God of War?
I don't know, is he?
I hope not.
He might be.
Yeah, they're just putting him in everything, so I just
Yeah.
assume Pedro Pascal is Kratos. He just shaves his head.
Boy. Yeah, I hope not. You just need to find somebody that looks like the motherfucker because he don't talk a lot.
No.
Kratos is a man of very few words.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, I'm gonna bash your fucking skull in.
You know how Hollywood is, though, dude. They'll be like, Vin Diesel's bald. Vin Diesel, he says Groot all the time. Let's get him.
Boy, can you do that Groot thing, but with the word boy?
Boy.
No, a little more. Boy.
Boy.
Perfect. That's $15 million. You know what though? I like Vin Diesel. I would support that. I'm a fan. But yeah, I think you just have to find maybe a Skarsgård. Those fuckers are built like gods of war.
Yeah, dude.
You could put enough muscle on one. But I'm sure there's somebody out there. It's probably already out, and we're just not even talking about it. You know, the casting's already been made. All this stuff's there. So let's rate this thing. Until Dawn 2025 out of how many battered reincarnations out of 5 do you give Until Dawn?
Is that a tangible number that we
Yes,
battered reincarnations?
battered reincarnation, because that's what they got. You came back battered with every reincarnation. So out of 5 battered reincarnations.
I'm gonna tell you, I think it's the same as what you said, that my understanding of this movie got less as we talked about it.
I
I'm
think
gonna give it a higher rating. But I'm gonna have to go 2.5 on this one because it's fucking dumb. But
you're right,
there's
though, dude.
no explanation. But yeah, I was able to turn my mind off. I got high before I watched it, and I shouldn't do that when we do these because then it just all blends together. And you ask me, you're like, well, what happens next? And I'm like, I don't
think
know.
you've just become, after so many episodes, come to just depend on, I'm gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Really, that's
You're like, oh yeah, I remember.
yeah. Sometimes you'll like stir it up, but yeah, I don't even try anymore. I just I sign on when you send me the invite, and I just talk about whatever. Like I jump onto whatever you're talking about. I throw a dick joke in there at the end. I'm like, remember those dicks?
I don't even try anymore. But no, with this one, and clearly you do try.
I co-host the fuck out of this show.
Yeah, no, you do. You put the effort into the movies. I will give you that. Even if it's like, yo, I had to turn that bitch off. Like I couldn't.
Greasy Strangler, shout out, dude.
That's the only one you haven't made it through yet, is the Greasy Strangler.
Oh, there was one other one. I fast forwarded through Wheel or Tire.
Rubber. You gave all the generic names like the Kmart dollar bin version of fucking Rubber. Tire, Wheel.
That's how much I fucking care about that movie, is that I won't even remember the title.
Oh, and I love it.
And Greasy Strangler, yeah, it was too fucking gross. And I sat through Street Trash, man. And like I came out the other end being like, yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah.
But with this, like you said, dude, the effects are spot on. It's got some pretty decent acting. It's for sure got a budget. Crazy to me though how Hollywood works. Like some of these cats are coming out making independent stuff on no budget, dude, and it's hot fire. And then this is like has all the talent and all the money behind it. And nobody was like,
too many hands in the fucking kitchen, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're like, what if some people blew up from drinking water? Sweet.
Some effects guy was like, yo, I just created this cool new fucking thing. They were like, oh, fuck, put it in the fucking movie.
Yeah, and he's like, we got this game about when dingoes. What if there was a crazy clown killer in there?
Right.
The old lady from The Shining showed up. What
And
are
they turn to ashes.
yeah. It's like, what is going on? Is this supernatural? Is this like real? Is it psychological? You're right.
Right.
So it gets 2.5 stars for being like really fun. If you just like, it would be better if you weren't watching it. Like if you were doing something else and it was on and you just like turned and saw a guy blow up.
Kind of like a Final Destination movie, even though those have much more of a clear through line for the most part. They started to get a little convoluted later on, but they had a pretty clear idea throughout.
That next one's streaming like next week, so we should probably do that one at some point.
Oh, I
The
like
new-
that one. I bought that one.
oh,
Yeah.
you did? See,
Yeah. See, I've seen that one.
I don't even know why I try anymore.
Yeah, that was a good one.
This is my last episode, everybody. I quit this fucking show.
Yeah,
I can't keep up with Pops.
I'll do both of us. I'll just get like I'll do like a South Park where I just put your head over mine and make the mouth go "Meow, meow, meow, meow." Yeah, the square mouth.
Dude, that South Park with Trump, man. Hot fire. They went hard on the man.
And it was just so fucking Cartman and Butters trying to kill themselves in the
In the
dude.
car, dude. This is taking a really long time.
I think I'm finally going. Anyway, that's for a whole nother podcast. But
Yes.
I could do a South Park rewatch podcast all day long. I was there at the beginning. I was there when that shit first fucking. I remember watching the premiere and just being like, "What?
Yeah.
He's got a whole probe coming out his ass." It
Yeah.
was just genius on a whole nother level. But anyways, okay, so I'm exactly with you. I had in my head, I had three.
Me too. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
give it 3.
And then I was like, you know what? No, three's not going to cut it. Just because, like you said, trying to explain it took away half of a star for me.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
trying to explain it,
Yeah.
because I feel like IMDb nailed it. Like a bunch of people get trapped in a spot and die a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I want to say. I really thought that I thought the sets were underwhelming. And I was like, maybe they're trying to like nail what happened in the game. But I was like, this environment isn't that spooky.
I did like the doll room. That was cool when he
The doll room's always gonna be scary.
right, and you can get one of those at any haunted house. Like when you were down in the catacombs with Doctor Satan and House of Thousand Corpses, and there's just like and just skulls everywhere and stuff. But he did that shit. I think that's probably just his basement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know he shot a lot of that shit at his house because Lionsgate like fucking pulled the funding or something happened and had to do a bunch of on the fly shit. Fucking love you, Rob. Thanks for inspiring a whole lot of artists. The Yeah, I don't know what else I can say outside of what I said. 2.5. That's it. Next week we're coming with Insidious. It is one that I rewatch, regularly enough.
Yeah.
James Wan is a genius in a lot of ways when it comes to horror. You can say some things have been overplayed a lot, but what he did in a lot of his first outings, whether it be something like this, Insidious or Saw, just kind of flipping storytelling around a little bit and playing with real terror.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit that gets under your skin. All right, let's take a moment to pause for the living before we wrap the show up. And I have been writing a lot the last couple of days, fucking really going, trying to get this thing done. I'm only like probably 1,000 pages away from being finished, or not 1,000 pages, 1,000 words.
I was gonna say, what are you writing the Bible?
Right, 1,000 words. No. But I took my seven chambers of tattoo and kind of expanded it. How I always planned to, it was always part of the idea and these kind of principles and things like that. But I was writing a lot on distraction recently.
Yeah.
And the more I wrote on it and thought about it and did a little bit of research on it, and the thing that killed me is I came across this kid on Reddit, and I think he was like 14 years old, and he's like, yo, no bullshit. Like, why, when I'm not distracted, do I feel so empty and like crazy, stir crazy?
Yeah.
This kid's 14 years old, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started thinking a lot about distraction. And like I said, you can do your own, research. I would encourage you to find like, accredited organizations and things like that to do your research. But the consensus seems to be pretty solid that we're all like hyper distracted. And we're all on this like rise of anxiety and depression and fear and all these different elements. And it's scary because when I was writing, I want to say I put it some way like everybody is trying to get your time.
Hmm.
Everybody is trying to distract you with something, whether it be an idea, a possession, whatever it is. The whole world is trying to get your attention for the most part. And we carry around little slot machines in our pockets.
Yep. Yep.
And I mean, I shouldn't say they, because it's not any one. I don't think there's any some fucking shadow organization, plotting all this like, yeah, because clearly we, just look around.
Right.
It seem like there's that many people, really, I don't know, super smart like that, trying to do those kinds of evil take over the world things. I guess maybe
No,
if
the greed takes care of that for them. They don't have to come up
right.
with evil plans. The greed's enough.
And I
And I
think
was
you're
talking to
right,
my
dude.
daughter about this earlier. I was like, "Do you understand that the reason Roblox doesn't have an end to the game is so that you incessantly have to play it? When I finish my PlayStation game, I put it away, and that's the end of that game. And I may go back years later and revisit it, but I don't go right back into it and revisit it." And I was like, "Your Fortnite and your Roblox and all of that stuff is built to just keep you pulling that fucking slot machine handle over and over."
Right, dude. And and it's the same thing with a lot of social media is the same way. It's designed by nature to play on psychology.
I
And
will literally be on my TikTok and be like, okay, if I don't see a great video in the next three swipes, I'm gonna get off this thing.
that's crazy, dude.
And
See,
then yeah, and then they always know, dude, like show me like a side boob, and I'm like, ah, I'm hooked again. All right.
you got me.
I'm like, Grandma, your TikTok is crazy.
Don't tell anybody I don't like. I really don't like old people, but okay, yeah, show me that little side sag. TikTok is one of the biggest culprits
Hmm.
as far as the social media stuff. And they will even tell you, and this isn't just me spouting shit. Like, go and just look at their internal documents. People have leaked that shit all over. It's designed in a way to keep you, like you said, engaged for as long as possible. And now we have systems, we have artificial intelligence that can make micro adjustments in fucking, faster than we can really even think about it.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm gonna swipe three more times. It's learned your habit of this.
Right.
He closed it last time after seeing this many of this type of content. So next time, let's put one right before he closed last time and see if that'll keep him going for a couple more, and then it'll figure out the next one, and it'll slowly build a.
Just playing chess against Skynet, dude, and you're not gonna win.
You gotta be that Kurt Russell just dumping that shit in the computer, like fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck you, Adrian Barboa.
right. No, we love you, Adrian Barboa. I always like it when she shows up in a movie. So distractions.
Distractions. I'm one right now. I apologize.
No, you're not. You're not. But and in my writing, like I felt like I had to get this thing done. And even in my writing, I was evaluating myself and it's like, yo, you're living a pretty distracted fucking life right now. And I
Me
had to be
too.
honest with myself. I
Yeah.
had to be honest with myself. I'm like you even said, like I sat yesterday and stared at my fucking PS5. And I was like, you might be too much. And it might not be forever, but it might have to be for a while because I'm from the time I could hold a controller, I've been playing video games.
Yeah.
And it's, looking for or choosing, and I even wrote down, making sure you block in time for whatever distracted indulgence you want,
Mhm.
but make it an hour,
Yeah. And
not
do it.
not 4 to 5 hours. of sitting with something playing in the background while you scroll on your phone, just fucking really looking at it. I don't want to say it's all bad because nothing is all bad, but for the most part, I don't see a lot of people really looking and like accomplishing a lot of big things. If you spend your time 3 hours, I think is kind of the average right now for social media type use. And we are on a social media platform right now. Like that is what,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. If we were closer, I would probably be trying to finagle a way to get us just on public access and then we could just drop it on.
If it was up to you, we'd be doing this at the mall, just like yelling at people walking by. Hey, you want to feel better? You like horror movies? Come
Come
here.
on over.
Come on over.
Covered wagon. Covered
Yeah.
wagon. We got a little of the macabre, a little of the mindful. Um,
Hot dogs? We're making hot dogs.
but as I thought about it more, I'm like, man, and we become uncomfortable with not distraction or not,
Mhm.
and even sometimes I feel we mask distraction as a positive.
Mhm.
Exercising. I'm reading. It's like, yeah, and that's good things. But if anything is used as a tool to take us away from the way we're feeling, I think that's a distraction.
Yeah, 100%.
And I still, live with it. I'm still trying to fight it. It's like something, every day, but I found some of it is just remove it. You know what I mean? If you can. Like if something is just like that fucking much.
It's
But
an addiction. And just like an addiction, the only way to recover is to remove it. They have fucking, methadone for heroin. We need something for PlayStation.
right. Right.
Like re-release the PlayStation 1 and don't give us access to our 5. So we're gonna slowly start just playing PlayStation 1 games and be like, this kind of sucks. Let's go outside.
And that's the thing, you know what I mean? And even video games, a lot of them, not all, because I think I'm a little more like you, even though I do like playing some Fortnite. I like a good story-driven game, like God of War, like Batman, Tomb Raider, stuff like that. And I like a logical ending. I
Right.
don't like in Roblox, I mean, that shit's just predatory, dude. There's no
Absolutely.
other word to call it outside of just fucking predatory. It's nuts.
I asked my 7-year-old daughter, what'd you do today? And she tells me what she did in Roblox. And I want to punch her. But I can't because I'm a better father than that.
You might be like, so I'm just gonna put this out there, and this is no lie. Probably Annabelle played Roblox for a little while, probably like 3 months, and I saw the way it fucked her up, and I said, "You're never playing Roblox again."
Yeah.
And she just knows now. She's like, "I'm not allowed to play Roblox. That's just not my thing."
Yeah.
And even trying to remove some of that stuff because it's crazy across the board, the distraction level, dude, and the predatory nature of just keep somebody there as long as possible. You get
Right.
XP for staying longer.
And, as a father, we have that double down because we're dealing with it on our own. And then we have our kids to worry about too.
And
And
that's
it's
where
like,
I'm trying to think like, yo, I've spent an entire lifetime playing video games. I could spend, 10 years and there's going to be some that hit. I know they're going to be like, fuck. It's going to, but because that distraction is so ingrained in me.
can you imagine if you took the time that you've spent in your whole life playing video games, if you could have that back and you just like researched cancer
Right.
or MS in your case,
Right.
like it would be cured by now.
If we all collectively stop being even
Such a
distracted in one way.
disappointment.
But it's also scary to think about a world where all of a sudden there was no distractions. That would be a scary world.
Just the static of the real.
Yeah. But you see this stuff, man. Like even just recently in Michigan, up in the place I used to live, up in Traverse City, like some dude at a fucking Walmart stabbed like fucking 11 people at the
How
check.
do you? It's a knife. One person gets stabbed. I'm rolling out, dude. I'm out. I'm a Target shopper for now
Oh,
on.
there was a lot of people who I'm sure did get out, but I'm sure this guy just showed up. You know what I mean? Out of
Stab, stab
nowhere.
at the door. Stab, stab.
Fucking
And if it was a movie, we'd say it was awesome.
no, we wouldn't. We would want justice. If it was a movie, we would want justice for an action like that because that's what we like in our Western movies. But yeah, that shit's like crazy, and I feel like I don't know if it's getting better. Like we're safer. I believe we are statistically safer, even though, gun violence is like the number one killer of kids and shit in our country, which is crazy. But you look back at history, we're statistically safer, but we see everything all at once.
Right.
You don't have to wait for the evening edition of the paper to come out.
Mm-mm.
I
Immediately after it happened.
listen, dude, no joke, no joke. And people might think I'm fucking crazy for this. I was talking to my queen, my queen equality, and I was like, I'm legit thinking about trading in our phones, getting us both flip phones and a landline. And we will have a computer where you can go to the internet, you can do your thing, you can look your shit up. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can whatever. That's not to say you wouldn't have anything else that's connected to Wi-Fi, maybe, but it really is when you just look at the data of the amount of time we spend just checking our fucking shit. And now it's like a Pavlov's dog thing. I can walk around and just pull my phone out in a crowd and watch.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not looking at anything, I can just pull it out and look, and people will instinctively just grab their shit and start looking at it.
Yeah.
It's wild. So I do think there is hope for shit like that. If that's any consolation, I know this is like a downer fucking episode across the board. Bad movie, bad environment. But no, not all things are terrible like that. But I think it's important, very important, and to be able to sit with not being distracted by something.
Yeah, for sure.
Just sit. And that's a hard thing to do.
I see couples at restaurants, dude, and they're just both on their phone waiting for their food to come. And you're like, talk to each other. Just try it.
Right.
Me and my wife, we don't take our phones out when we're at dinner.
We try, yeah, unless there's somebody babysitting, then we might.
Yeah, then it's
But
different.
usually the ringer's on and it's like call. Or if if I hear the texting, I'll just check to make sure everything's okay. Because usually it's my older kid watching my younger kid and shit like that. Um, but the distracted life is a hard life. It is a
Yeah,
hard life, man. And I don't think I can find any other way to just like we are willingly putting data in our face like a fucking wheel of, or not a wheel of fortune, but the Price is Right wheel. You know what I mean? That big fucker that you can't see around, trying to land on a dollar and shit. And it's just like story after story after story after story after info. And it doesn't matter what the information is.
right.
It's just a lot of information.
Coming at you all the time from everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you recommend to help people get off of it? How do you get past those distractions?
It's gonna all be in these seven chambers.
You
It's
got to buy the book, you motherfucker.
no. This is something I want to give away for free. Absolutely. I might try and get it printed into something though, because I think it actually could, because it's super concise. It's like just this right here, reason why other people smarter than me, maybe above that, some shit they said.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it really boils down to just small, if you can, and by the time I get to the distraction chamber, that's like two or three chambers in. There's some other like pre-work, essentially. You got to get through this shit and it'll take time. But I hope that even just one person can take it and be like, yo, I did something with that shit, made it my own a little bit. And you know what? It helped out. But the is forcing yourself to do it.
Yeah, that's not good either.
When I first started, like really trying to meditate. And it's something that I even notice now. If I miss like a day or two, like I feel it. If I miss my morning meditation, like I can feel it throughout the rest of my day. But I started doing it in the shower because it was easy because there was white noise. You know what I mean? Psh.
Right.
And I could just sit there and just breathe. Even if you only do like one or two, three breaths, just try to be all right, just exactly where you're at.
Wait a minute, you just went psh, like you're washing your hair.
No, the sound on my ears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, no, definitely no hair. But I found that to be a really easy place to start trying to do some of that focused breathing. One, usually people aren't fucking with you. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, at my house, yes, my child will come in like, hey,
Yeah, I've never had a shower where my kid didn't come in and bother
yeah.
me.
But that's, it's not usually the whole time. So if you can get a couple, two, three, four, five, six, 7 breaths in there, if you could elongate 7 breaths into 1 minute, that's a really cool little practice. And it's only 1 minute, but when you try and sit and just be with yourself, I encourage, and some people, there's trauma that's so big you might need therapy. Absolutely. There's trauma that I don't think, you go to, but I guess even in this instance, that really doesn't matter because my recommendation is I was talking to my queen about it earlier and try to remove from a stressful situation, try to remove the object of the stress and just feel whatever that emotion energy is that you're feeling, whether it's anger, whether it's fear, whether it's embarrassment. Try to remove, like, oh, something happened to me at work and I think somebody laughed. Remove the whole work environment, remove the people attached to it, and be like, what am I feeling? And just breathe with that. Even if it's for a few breaths, just a couple, and just be like, hey, I see you. I see you anger. I see you embarrassment. I see you jealousy. I see you this. And now we're just going to sit here and chill. And it's a hard thing to develop. And I even wrote a lot of that down. It takes fucking time. There's no way, but it can also, like, just 3 breaths can happen, today. It's something we're always breathing. You can start at any time.
Mhm.
But I think being able to peel back that layer of the object of my pain, somebody really fucked me up as a kid. Remove that whole person who did that. They have their own probably world of shit that's going on. Remove the whole environment from it and look at, try to identify what is that pain feeling that I'm still feeling? What was it? I've gotten rid of all that shit. Like, I've dealt with it, a lot of my own stuff from my childhood. But being able to say, okay, it's fear, it's hurt, and being like, okay, you're here. Now I'm here too, just doing some chill ass breathing. Just, and you don't got to do anything crazy. It's not like, and you don't have to, try to have a head full of nothing. You can just try to concentrate on your breath. Just be like, just feel the air going up by your nose. Try to identify just that feeling and then across your lips and just sit and relax, trigger your parasympathetic nervous system. And then that feeling starts to have nowhere to go. It doesn't have anybody to grab onto, and pretty soon you're overwhelming it with calm. Again, takes time, and it's something that I practice. It's not something where I've gotten. I don't feel like I'm anywhere near, hopefully where this journey might take me. But I think the breathing thing is open to anybody. It's not a religious thing. It's not a, metaphysical thing. It's a literal science. You know what I mean? It really
Yeah.
is the science of breathing.
Yeah, it's
And
something you can
so
do anywhere, no matter
at
what
any
situation
time,
you're in.
at any time, I use it a lot to interrupt things. If you can stop when anger hits, like when your kid, does something that really gets you,
Yeah. Hmm.
you're just like, you mother, you feel that. If
Yeah.
you can stop for 1 breath before saying anything, it changes a lot.
Yeah.
And that's a very hard thing to do because we are built with habit responses. They're so ingrained, they're subconscious in a lot of ways. Like, oh, we've talked about this before, when A happens, when I feel hurt, I go get something to eat. I go
Right.
hide in my room and read a book. I go drink. That was, a lot of my thing. I was real
Right.
bad
Right.
at that one. I go do this. I go to that. I go to distract, and I guess it does kind of come full circle. You look for any sort of distraction to hide away from that feeling. But when we can remove the object of it and just experience, and sometimes trauma is so big you need someone to help you. And I'm not over here giving advice, like deal with your deepest, darkest shit. If you get therapy, I think everybody should have therapy at least once in their life. It's fucking
Yeah.
awesome. But to remove those things, it helps. And that is, I think, the way to practice, you know, when
I
you
just I
go,
just heard I was listening to the last podcast on the left and they did the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And so they were talking about how Abraham Lincoln was quick to anger and he would get really pissed at like his constituents because like it was a very difficult time politically. So
sure,
he'd write these fucking fierce letters, and I guess these letters are available online to read. And then he would put that letter away without mailing it, and he'd wait a day and rewrite the letter. And then it was the things that he should be saying instead of what he felt in that moment of anger.
genius, dude.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
So we're taking that just to a very smaller scale. You can do it
Right.
in one breath. You don't
Yeah.
even have to wait one whole day. You can break some of those cycles in just one breath. Sometimes it's more than one breath. If you genuinely love someone, if you genuinely care, you will never have words with them in anger because it never goes anywhere good.
I've never had to yell at my kids ever.
I'm
And
talking about even spouses, though. You know what I
spouses,
mean?
well, I've yelled at my spouse and she deserved every fucking word. No, I'm just kidding.
But you know what I mean? Like sometimes you might need, and even with the kids, like I remember reading Thich Nhat Hanh in one of his books was talking about during the Vietnam War. He was giving a speech at a church somewhere about, and he's straight got kicked the fuck out of Vietnam and is on this peace mission and did so much good in the world. But he's given this speech and he's in this place and he said, I had to leave the room for a couple minutes because the collective negative energy was overwhelming me. Like it
Right.
was almost scary, like when it gets that like pre-mob kind of stuff going on.
That's how I feel just reading the news, man. And so I understand. My distraction is actually upsetting me.
And that's what a lot of people or our distractions, I think, can give us a false sense of security. Or our distractions can be work. That's always one where people are like, "Oh yeah, this is," it, but you see it. The divorce rate in our country is like 50, probably 55% now, or something like
Oh, I
that.
think it's 62. Yeah.
So some people will, but distractions can also be what some would perceive as positive things in life. You become a workaholic, but you completely ignore your family, and at the end of the day, those people are probably the most important things. Relationships are going to end up at the end
Most
of the
pissed, I clean. That's my distraction.
day.
So when my wife sees me cleaning like a motherfucker, she's like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me give you something straight then. So when you're cleaning, try and just do a couple mindful breaths while you're cleaning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stop and actually think about what you're cleaning. Think about what you're holding. Like how many people it took to fucking get that, you know what I mean? Show up in your hand. The
Yeah.
fact you got electricity and water and shit and all these different things, but just be cleaning. That's, mindfulness in a nutshell right there is just be whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think mindfulness, again, it's something you have to be mindful about. You can't, I'm not, I guess, a mindful person. I try to act mindfully, but it's not a place you get to. It's just, even if it's meditation, you got to be mindfully meditating, or mindfully doing the dishes, mindfully scrubbing. And the more mindful you can be, the bigger the universe in your head gets. And a lot of that stupid shit just starts to become so trivial.
Yeah.
And I think I completely forgot to send you a picture the other night, but the crow was on broadcast TV, dude, on Comet TV
Uh,
on my antenna. Yeah, I got some pictures. I'll send you one. It's like, look at the little fucking symbol on the side. And I saw it on, yeah. Shelly always thought those things were so trivial. Uh,
nothing.
so distractions, breathe your way through some. Once I get all this stuff out, I'll see if there's a way I can just attach a document to the YouTube channel and be like, hey, here it is. Because I plan to do the whole thing once it's written, create like a whole presentation from it. And be
Yeah.
like, hey, yeah, this is this, if you want it, come take it. Because, and none of this shit is shit that, I came up with off the top of my head. It's years reading books. And I've come to find that, and this is an odd thing to say, I don't really appreciate people's products the way I used to. Like, say, a sculptor, you know what I mean? I don't even look really at the sculpture anymore. I seem to be in awe of the human being that was able to overcome something and maybe not even overcome, but even though if overcome means just to do something nobody had done before.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or the audacity to lay on your back and paint for 3 years. Like
Yeah.
that is a cool picture, but it's him, you know, it's that story where I guess maybe it's just the older I get and shit. It's just like, wow, man, these people took nothing and made something out of that shit. And I bet they weren't super distracted. I don't know.
Very focused, I think. They're drawing the Sistine Chapel.
Right. But I don't think they were very distracted and there was and we'll try to wrap this up pretty quick because I feel like we've been going for a minute. But and I don't know who said it, but I remember reading it. Somebody when the radio was introduced and they were like, this is the death of thinking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right here when the radio was introduced.
Yeah. They thought that though when you could print books and people no longer had to talk to each other.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, every time there's a advancement, it's the end of everything.
But I feel like ours is so connected. Like we're almost
Ours is really good at its job.
ours is extraordinarily good at its job. And we have so many now.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm planning a trip with my family to Florida in the fall to go to Orlando and all that stuff. And like you think of just about, you know, those businesses.
Yeah, man. We just came back from Disneyland and that place is made to take your money.
Oh yeah, dude.
You might as well just open your wallet and let it suck it out in front of you.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Homer Simpson's got a vacuum just pulling it right out. No, I'm excited though. It's going to be a good time. I really want to see the Mario thing. I want to see Mario Land.
Heard it's very cool.
I've heard the same thing. So, do you have anything else you want to add to the idea of distractions? Again, I know that was a huge mouthful and a ton of stuff. I am only, like I said, about 1,000 words away from being done with the thing in its entirety. I'll print it out, do some quick edits, have a couple other people read it, and then make it available to anybody who listens to this show, and probably even do a series. I did a couple videos, but then I fell off. Like, you know, life happens, and being able to get back up.
Pops talk.
Yeah. Oh, dude. So that's my hope is when I get down to when we get moved out of here and get moved downstate a little bit, is to have a pole barn of some sort, maybe a small one or maybe a big shed. You know what I mean? Heated, cooled, all that shit, where I can have a green screen, have a 3 setup key, and have a little desk, have a little puppet shows that I do. And yeah, maybe even do it like that. Who knows? We just have an old school little video up like Space Ghost Goes to Ghost, and I can just talk to people on Zoom.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So anything else you want to add?
No, man. I'm good. I agree with you. It's always like I've said this a million times, but you always say stuff, and then I'm like, oh shit, that's what I'm going through right now too. And I hope that that's what our viewers get out of this, or viewers. Well, viewers, yeah. Now that we're on YouTube,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
For
So
sure.
I hope that that's what people get out of this too.
I hope so because I think we're all going through the same things all the time, and if we were just a little more open about it, we'd probably be like, oh man, I fucking get it.
Part of the thing is that the distractions are there to keep us separated and keep us not talking to each other about how we're all the same.
Yeah, we'll get there in the chambers. It's coming. We'll have a whole series. Maybe we'll just do a series of just me and you talking and do each chamber. You know what I mean? And you can we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But until next time, we'll be talking about Insidious. Insidious, the first one. There's a lot of those. So make sure you watch the first one. I have been Pops Ghostly.
I'm a little Duke Spooky.
No! No! No!
Extravaganza.